Another day, another race here in the picturesque Fuji Speedway. Well, yesterday it was very snowy, but it's still chilly here today as we now take ourselves into the final race of the ARO Holotype month of racing. We're in week 4, and of course we did mention it's the final race. Anyways, welcome everyone to round 1 of the Holotype World Series of 2025. It's Split C of the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5 hours. So let's introduce ourselves and get acquainted to Fuji Speedway once again. 4.65 kilometers of the entire racetrack to deal with for every single lap for these race car drivers representing Holotype members. 16 corners in total for a race distance of 274 kilometers for the Split C race, as does Splits A and B. So expect pit stop strategies to fall for these drivers. Looking at the lap record, we've seen a 129. Will we see a 128? Because we've seen a 129.1. We've seen maybe 129 zeros. But will that elusive 128 come? We'll have to wait and see in the coming moments in the next qualifying session to see if that's going to be the case. Now, that being said, let's introduce ourselves into the Split C grid. So joining Split C will be Hofumi for Tokinosora in the car number 36, Cal Gibbons for Roboco in car number 64, Isakaji Mikale for ASCII in the number 35 Sakarmiko Honda. Well, not exactly Honda, but still Sakarmiko car. And then from Gen 1, it will be Zeke Rimberly and Vladislav Domashnev racing for Shirakami Fuji and Aki Rosato respectively. And then amongst the Gen 2 drivers, Hoshizono Rio racing for Nakiri Ayame, Raji Kaczynski for Yuzuki Choko, and Rim Olgor for Ozura Subaru. And then for the rest, Holotype gamers also joining Zeke Rimberly for Shirakami Fuji, Jake Goodwin for Okami Mio, Alson Tanarao for Nekomata Kayu, and Sean Pauly for Inugami Korone. And then with the ID class cars of Dan Evans, Ironio 15, and then Animal Physicist, Dan Evans is Ironio 15 is Dan Evans, Angela Sims driving for Animal Fisa, and of course Javier Luspi for Vestia Zeta. And then in Gen 5 for JP, Alex Grant for Yukon Alami and Shishiro Botanzis Kamina Riba will be joining in on the fight. And as for the EN class cars racing, it's Takeda Adachi for Ninamai Nanis. And then also joining in will be Gargura and Great Prower. Although I do notice that it's not actually the car in question, but we'll see how the car looks like when we get to the track. And then we have Ethan Burleson for Nashimumi and Mono Zetaro for Oro Crony. And just a bit of a refresher on how the race format looks. We have a 10-minute qualifying session. Races will go for 60 laps. We have tire options between softs, mediums, and hards. And for Split C, I just wanted to remind everyone on how the qualifiers work for Split C. We have basically 25 spots to fill in. The other 5 cars are to be announced soon. But for the 20 cars racing here, you at least need to be in the top 12 in points for you to automatically advance into the Suyo. If you finish 13th in Split C, then you will be competing with whoever is in 12th in Split B for the wildcard spot. Whoever has the most points or the best results will go to the Suyo. And of course, running in orange, if you finish in 14th or below, you're condemned to go down into the Zato. And with that being said, it's time to finally move ourselves into qualifying for essentially the final qualifying session and essentially the final race of the ARO Holotype month of racing. And to conclude the fast races that we are hosting in the ARO channel, my name is Mama Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is the Roboco driver Callum Gibbons and the Shirakai Knoll driver Lexi Bowen. So you two, welcome back here in Fuji. Let's see how this qualifying session goes.
Hello, welcome back everyone. Obviously we had a very entertaining creators race. Obviously it was a more quick and fast race. It's a shorter format, just 22 laps. Here obviously we got a longer race and a longer qualifying session as well, so more laps to be put down here.
Yes indeed, should make things very interesting, and we'll see hopefully the qualifying even tighter than what we saw for the creators race, the invitational that we held just before. But yeah, should be very interesting, especially given that there's a bit of crossover in the drivers who took part in the creators race with those who are here in Split C.
So I just wanted to remind everyone that I will be taking a back seat in the commentary while I will still commentate on the most important parts. Gibbo and Lexi will be taking over for much of the stream here. So anyways, just wanted to check on a few cars that's currently making their laps here. Currently Javier Luzbi will be the first driver to cross the line, but with more cars coming out, I don't think he will be the main focus. Grape will be the main focus for our onboard lap for today. So Gibbo, it's going to be your honor to commentate this lap.
Thank you very much. So is it on board with Pro here, ready for the first flying lap, getting those tyres warmed up, but obviously a chilly track, so may take a couple of laps to get the tyres dialed in, but otherwise we'll make a good first attempt here. So heading around the final corner, around Panasonic corner onto the main straight, probably one of the longest, if not the longest front straight on a permanent race circuit. So time to kick back, relax, enjoy your coffee, do whatever, but get ready for a turn run. So very hard braking zone, braking just before the 100-meter board. I think we can't quite see what it made. Actually, a bit slow on the exit there. I don't know if he's being impeded by any other cars coming out, but nevertheless we'll keep on going through Coca-Cola corner on the left-hander. Sort of okay there, 26 seconds for the first sector. I think this is still a bit of a warm-up lap, so maybe not representative of the fastest time, but still going to keep it nice and tidy into the hairpin. And coming up on some traffic here, so I believe that car is on an out lap, so it is possibly going to be impeded. But nevertheless, we'll try and get into the more technical sector 3, heading into Dullop, another hard braking zone. Hugs the inside and immediately left into turn 11 through turn 12, and stuck behind traffic, 57.1 after second 2. This is definitely not going to be Pereira's fastest lap. I'm absolutely getting blocked off here, so not ideal, but with 7 minutes to go, there's still more chances to be had. Guard around Panasonic back onto the main straight. I guess if there's any consolation, you get a slipstream on the main straight before finishing lap, but we did see 29s in the creator race qualifying, so I think this might not be representative of the fastest time. Yeah, 30, 31, yeah, 31.8, so not the greatest time, so we'll definitely look for another shot later on.
Yeah, we've had some pretty solid times in the creator race qualifying, and as the drivers get their tyres up to temperature and get themselves acclimatized to the conditions, they will be very quick as we watch a Dutchie come up to the line now, and it's going to be a 32 flat. So yeah, definitely some slow lap times at this stage, but we will get down to the low 30s and into the 29s, you would think, as we watch Jake Goodwin. He was very quick earlier on, and he crosses the line to go 7th, but Domishnev takes the fastest time so far, 30.5. Quickly overtaken by Mikolev. Gibbons there in P3, also in the 30s, but a high 30s it is for Callum Gibbons.
Yeah, so times are coming down already, only just under 5 minutes in. Margins aren't as tight as they were in the previous invitational race, but still a bit more time. With the second laps, we may see some closer times as we head towards the end. Still in the 30s, Topoli 31.6 just into the top 10. Then Ryan Rio 31.3 also into the top 10 as well. So definitely still some time to be gained.
So right now we're looking into the last few drivers who have yet to set a time. Raja Kaczynski now coming across the line to probably set a 1:33, not the lap time he's looking for. Ray Prowl in the Gaugara number 99. He's now placed himself into 12th place. Looks like Rim Olgord's about to cross the line as well. Ethan Burleson improves. He's now up into 12th. Olgord now up into 11th place. Looking at current drivers on form here. Mikolev currently on pole position with a 1:30.337 with the Masev not far behind Wimberley and Sim. So I do have to agree with the notion that the gaps aren't as tight as we've seen in the creators race, but that's mostly because that race has over 30 cars, but we're mostly dealing with just 20 for this split C race. But whatever the case is, it's still going to be an interesting qualifying session to look at, as Isekaiji Mikolev with 1:29.772, more lap times going up the charts.
Yeah, great lap time from Mikolev there. The first driver into the 29s and already looks like the driver to beat. We have a second driver in the 29s now though, with Zeke Wimberley going a 29.945. So definitely getting up there now, but still got 4 minutes to go in this session, so still plenty of time for others to improve, with Sean Polly goes to 11th as Rio moves up into P4 the 30.319.
Yeah, it just seems like some of these cars have got their tyres dialed in now. There's some decent gaps in the field as Osby enters the pit lane before a fresh set of tyres. Otherwise, yeah, some others going into the pit lane as well, so maybe just doing a quick tyre change, getting back out so they can set a faster lap right at the end. But otherwise, no changes at the top currently. Kalev still with a 29.7 on provisional pole. Wimberley P2, 110 behind, and Fumai in P3, half a second behind.
On board now with Dan Evans. He's currently down in P16 at the moment. We'll be looking for some improvement. You will see quite a few drivers come to the pit lane, although at this stage you would say it's too late for drivers to come into the pits and change onto fresh tyres if they haven't already come into the pits already. Goodwin, who was impressive in the Invitational race, has gone up into P9, about a second off of Mikolev. Dan Evans is going to come up to the line very soon. Antonaro goes up to P3 with a 30 flat. Evans, a 30.925 up to P12. So better lap time, but still be looking for some improvement. Very tight in the midfield there, from P8 down pretty much.
Yeah, so very competitive midfield, as you said. The sort of the, I guess, like top four are sort of in their own little pack at the moment, if you want to call it a virtual pack for this qualifying session, as well on board with Rio as well, heading down to turn 1. Oh, just at very good times. What was that? 129.8, so only 400ths off provisional pole. 2 minutes to go here, so I guess anyone that's just started another lap, they'll probably get 2 more laps in, so a couple of more chances and more chances for positions to change, as Wimberley in the pits, Fumai in the pits, a few others in the pits as well, so that's probably their qualifying done.
And also just wanted to point out here that right now, as things stand, I remember when I mentioned about the whole Callum Gibbons winning in the inaugural points race that Gibbons has entered. Let's see if the streak continues here, as Gibbons now qualifies in 6th. The last 2 races in the Holotype World Series here in Fuji, the Colorways Harmony Fuji 5-hour races in both splits A and B, have the 4th place driver go on to win this race. So right now, as things stand, Alcantara, who have now gone on to the pits and he will not resume any further in this qualifying session, is currently qualifying in 4th. And mind you, this is the same Alcantara that has endured absolutely abysmal luck in the 2024 Holotype GT3 Japan Series. Although Antonaro did manage to redeem himself with a CEO Cup qualification in Formula Holotype. Again, this is Holotype. This is a completely different beast. This is a tin-top car with a lot of downforce. So anything can still happen. Well, I just want to remind you all of the trends.
Well, we'll see if Gibbons can improve now. He comes up to the line. Will we see an improvement from Callum Gibbons? Doesn't look like it. So he will go for 1 more lap time. And yeah, right now sitting P6, a little bit down on and definitely the top 4. So we want to find some improvement if he wants to win the proper, I guess, debut points race for him in the Holotype series, much like he has in GT3s beforehand. But it doesn't look like he's going to find a huge amount of time, already 3 tenths down in the first sector.
Yeah, so for the Invitational race, it was pretty much a write-off. It turned into a glorified test session, just in the wrong place at the wrong time, involving a major incident involving another driver's rejoin. So we'll be looking for much better result here. Better qualifying as well here as we enter sector 3 into Dunlop corner. 56.3 was the best time at this point. 5 tenths off, which is obviously not for provisional pole, but is an improvement. May jump Fumai for P5, hold that margin. In through Nets corner, turn 15, and then turn 16, final corner, Panasonic corner, and then we'll open up the throttle for the main straight. How come not really sitting behind any cars? I'm not going to get a slipstream here. I know some cars were able to get a slipstream in the pack, but we'll just have to hold the throttle and hope for the best. 129.7 to beat, 28.29. It does not improve, so provisionally still in P6.
We'll see what Elgor can do as he comes up to the line. It's going to be a 30.8, so no improvement there for Elgor either. I have a feeling most of the drivers use the best of their tyres. Lisby was one of the ones who pit, and he moves up into P8, so pitting was the right call, and he did it at the right time. Adachi comes up to the line, and it's going to be a 32.3, so it's going to remain in last, and Brave Prow is going to be coming into the pit. So that will be your qualifying session done for split C of the Holotypes.
Alright, so with that out of the way, we'd like to congratulate, of course, our pole sitter, Isakaijin Mikalev, for his pole run. He will be in the pole sitter records here, as we are gonna need to make sure to get everyone acquainted to the grid here for split C of the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5 hours. Now, with that being said, let's introduce everyone into the grid here, as we're just gonna get ourselves into position. Isakaji Mikalev, your pole sitter for the Split C race. He will start on pole position in the Colorized Harmony Split C race. And then we have Hoshitono Rio starting in second place for Nakari Ayame. Of course, just remind everyone, the Sakura Miko car is in pole position. The Elite car is in pole position. And then we got Zeke Wimberly for Shirakawa Fubuki starting in third. Alson Tanaro looking to try to continue the trend of fourth place starters winning races for Nekomata Kaiju. And then we have Hofumi for Tokino Sora in the renumbered number 36. Cal Gibbons in 6th place in car number 64. And then we have Vlasa Domashnev 7 for Aki Rosenthal with 8th place. Javier Lusby for Vestia Zeta. Car number 48 will be Rim Olgo for Ozorasboro. He starts 9th with Angela Sims for Anya Mefisa. She will start 10th. Jay Goodwin in the 11th place for Okami Mia with Monozetaro 12th for Oro Crony. Dan Evans 13th for Irony 15 will start in 13th with Great Power 14th for Gaogura. Sean Pauly 15th for Inogami Korone with Alex Grant 16th for Yukihana Lamy. The Nashimume driver, Ethan Burleson will start 17th with the Choco-mate Raji Kaczynski for Yuzuki Choco starting in 18th. Kamine Riba for Shishiro Botan starts 19th, and last in the field is Takeda Adachi for Ninamaya Nanis. And with that out of the way, we will need to know both of your thoughts here before we officially get this race underway.
Yeah, so unlike the Invitational race, it's obviously a much longer format here, so we are expecting pit stops both for fuel and for tyres, so probably going to be a bit more dynamic situation heading into those stops, and as I said, the undercut and overcut strategy may be a play here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're looking at sort of an hour and a half to an hour and 40 minutes of racing, so it could be plenty that can happen in that time, but yeah, you think the top four, based on the pace that they set in qualifying, will be the ones to beat, but we also saw in the Invitational plenty of variable lap times throughout the field.
So with that out of the way, we got 20 cars lined up for the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5 hour split C race. It is Isakaji Mikalev on pole position. It's an all JP front row here with Hoshitono Rios lining up in second place. 5 red lights are on for the split C race, and we are underway for the Colorized Harmony race. And now it is Isakaji Mikalev continuing the trend of the leader, holding on into turn 1, which is on the rear. Now has to defend against Zeke Wimberly, who's going to go around the outside. Will there be a mess here at the exit of turn 1? Everyone is going to get away scot-free, but I see 3 wide here. Oh, there's a spin! Oh, I believe that's Ethan Burleson spinning, but manages to have a 360 spin and to get himself back out on track. What a wild first lap it has been, with currently Mikalev leading this race, Wimberly second, Rio third, Fumi fourth, Tanarov fifth, Domashnev sixth, Gibbons seventh, and Lusby eighth, and then Sims 9 and Olgor 10th.
Yeah, we'll have to probably look at the replay after the race to see what happened there, but it just looks like it might have been a little pit maneuver, obviously a bit of overlap there into turn 1. Mostly like front and midfield got through pretty alright, but at the rear they just got themselves checked up.
Yeah, 3 wide usually doesn't work, and it definitely didn't work here, as we see Elgor and Prower going side by side. Elgor trying to hold on to that position, but it's going to be Prower who takes the advantage going into Net's corner. Yeah, as you said, yeah, just perhaps a little bit of an accidental pit maneuver there, and unfortunately for Bertelsen, fell down the order and was lucky not to be collected by Kaczynski or Reba, who did very well to avoid making contact.
Yeah, so with the bottom 3, they're sort of already disconnected from the main pack. 3 seconds between 17th and 18th, but Mykolaiv a very good first lap holding on to that lead, converting that pole position. Over 1 second the margin to Wimberley already.
Yeah, so yeah, it's Mykolaiv, Wimberley, Rio, Antanarau and Domeshnev, the top 5. Gibbons dropped down position on the opening lap, so not doing his charge any good, but we'll see what happens as the race goes on. And Tanarau seems to be putting a lot of pressure on Rio, who doesn't seem to quite have the pace of Wimberley at this stage. 1.6 seconds behind already, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of battles throughout the field, as it is quite condensed right now. But the pit stops later on will also produce some intrigue.
Yes, that would be a very strategy there. We'll have the fuel monitor to look at later. Some may underfuel, some may go for a full tank on the first stint. Obviously very tyre compounds as well, soft, medium and hard, so definitely a lot of combinations to try out. As we look at the timing there, yes, I believe that's the tyre compound so far. So mixture of softs and mediums, mostly softs, few mediums, no one taking the hards, I believe. So leaders down taking the softs, we're only one in the top 3 taking the medium.
And speaking of which, let's take a look into the race field monitor and looking into a lot of drivers here feeling pretty underfueled here. Hopefully only having 10 liters of fuel, Zeke Wimberley only 14, Rio 16, Olgor 16, Jay Goodwin 17, and Tanarau 14, Sean Pauli 10, with the rest of the field having at least 40 liters of fuel. So that's probably not going to do them any favors, as they might have to be consigned to making extra pit stops.
Yeah, it seems quite a few are looking at that potential undercut strategy to try and get some clean track and use it to their advantage. But right now, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I did see quite a few of the heavy fuel loads, and they're going to be ones to look out for, as they'll the longest time on the tyres. Yeah, with many going on the softs to start, it's just whether how long those softs will last before they have to come and make pit stops and get fuel into the car.
As we look on board here, we see Rio in front in the last of the podium position. Samoa has sort of disconnected from the top 2 and is under pressure here. So Rio will be at the front of the slipstream train heading onto the main straight. Slipstream, we did see the invitational race is decently powerful, a lot of moves down into turn 1. So as we ride on board with myself at the rear of this train, we're trying to use that slipstream. They're really setting the fastest lap, 1:30.2. So a very good lap there, nearly into the 29s already. So, taking a look down inside, but not close enough, so just going to have to tuck that in behind.
Yeah, it seems right now they haven't been able to make greater use of the slipstream advantage, but Wimberley is closing in on Mykolaiv and could be shaping up for a move for the lead very, very soon, less than half a second between them. And Tanarau just can't seem to quite get close enough to Rio. Rio is the only driver in the top 5 who is on the medium tyres, so will undoubtedly be slow to start off, but as the stint wears on, depending on the fuel load that Rio has chosen, should come into their own.
Yeah, as we mentioned, definitely a lot of varied strategy to play here, so we don't want to dismiss them just yet. There's still plenty of time to make the moves. Still a 3 second Rio, so sort of maintain it there despite being under pressure. Wimberley is 8/10 behind now, so has closed up that margin a bit more, but Mykolaiv still maintaining the lead.
Yeah. Alright, so right now, based on the fuel loads for those who are currently less than 10 liters, looks like they will be pitting in the next 3 laps. And right now they are currently, based on the trends here, they are doomed to make at least 2 pit stops, and that will be a waste of time. So there's gonna be a massive shuffle on who will be up there and who will not be up there. But for now, Antanarao is just gonna make use of his time up inside the top 5. He doesn't get that too often, especially after what he has experienced in Holotype GT3. But watch out though at the back, because Count Gibbons is now under pressure from Javier Luzbi. Luzbi is absolutely hounding the back of that number 64. We'll see how it develops from here, but whatever the case is, in between turn 1 and 100R, that's where the action zone happens.
Yeah, so a lot of action in the Invitational, a lot of door banning into turn 3 Coca-Cola corner. Some not so fortunate incidents as well. As I said, Mike have been taken out around that area, but it is a hot spot for overtaking.
Indeed, and on that last lap, Gibbons was the only one of the top 10 not to set an improved lap time. Mikolev with the fastest lap time for the 30 flat, but everyone was in the 30s, including Gibbons, but Gibbons was just the only one who didn't find any improvement on his previous best, although I think the fuel load that Gibbons is running is a lot higher than some of the others around him.
Yeah, I think look at the fuel monitor before. I think I might have taken like a full tank at the start, so it's going to be a bit slower in the beginning, but might come back to at the end. But it's Rio now with a 29.6, so Rio finding that pace now, and maybe the tyres will come back and maybe have a go at the top 2.
Yeah, both Rio and Antanarao were both in the 29.6s, so they're both faster than the 2 ahead of them, but Mikolev definitely faster than Wimbley at the moment, 4/10 faster on the previous lap. But Rio on those mediums looking very good. Perhaps has taken the early pain, but now finding that gain on the alternate strategy, you could say.
So see that, I think it was Polly making the move on Gran into Coca-Cola. As I said, hotspot for overtaking, manages it around the outside and makes the move stick. Heading back into the no, that's not the line. That is not the line to take the corner. Red just clips the grass on the entry, gets away with that, but that is not the optimal racing line.
Yeah, right. You saw how Alex Grant there have done his break-in. Has not have been the best though. Probably drinking too much sake there. I mean, it's on brand for Yuki Hanalami for her to be drunk on stream, but again, don't never drink and drive. That's never the ideal option. I would like to remind everyone that Alex Grant is still sober, and he has not ingested any alcohol in the past few hours, so he's okay with that. But speaking of which, actually, remember, this is Split C of the Colorwise Harmony Fuji 5 hours, and this race coincides with stage 3 of the concert coming up later today. So if you want to know more about the concert and all that stuff, and the whole fest and expo and all that stick, you may want to take a look into the QR code on the bottom right of your screen that's popping up right now if you want to know more info about the 6th Fest. Anyways, back onto the racing action. The first driver on the pits is Hofumi, and Hofumi looking into the race field monitor, and it's not looking good.
Yeah, probably really underfielded there. Don't know exactly how many laps you can get on a full tank, but maybe hoping for minimal stops afterwards. As I said, don't want to waste any time there, so the longer you can stay on track, the better. As we look at the rear of the field with Kaczynski, sort of in their own little pack at the moment. They're sort of disconnected from P16, so they're just doing a bit of formation driving there, nothing really too dramatic. Looking at the timing board for the leader, Mikhailov has actually extended that leading margin to over 2 seconds now, so has found a bit of pace there. I believe he's going to pit soon, so we'll have to look into that. But otherwise, Dario right behind the road at the moment on the main straight, trying to get a little bit of slipstream, but probably won't be close enough to improve.
Yeah, you can sort of see Mikhailov 29.9, Wembley 30.4, but Rio and Antanarao, 29.6 and 29.7 respectively. They're looking very, very quick, those two. So they're in a really, really good position to be able to come onto the back of Wembley and attack the second place driver at the moment as we look on with Adachi's. Sean Polly comes into the pits, another earlier stopper there. And we'll see where Polly comes out in comparison to Fumai.
So Dashi just not close enough to Evans to make the move as we look at Fumai who just exit the pits. Sean Polly in the pits as well. So as we mentioned, it would be that first round of pit stops for the underfuelers, but those at pit will be alone for a while. Again, back at the top three, Wimberley, actually Rio now within a second of P2. So
has Mikolev made a mistake? Wimberley is now half a second back.
Yeah, I believe based on my observations here, lots of drivers have been known to make mistakes here. I've seen lockups happen at Dunlop Chicane or someone actually going off wide here at the hairpin, and you now get to see here Isakaji Mikolev thought of actually going to the pits, and now you can see here Zeke Wimberley got spooked there, and now Hoshino Rio's gonna be pouncing in on the move on the main straight here. Things have been moved down the inside, but has to chicken now, and now Antanaro's going to be in the mix. There's going to be potentially a 3 wide into turn 1. Ooh, it's going to be pretty nice. It's going to be pretty tight, but it's going to be okay for now. It's going to be Zeke Wimberley leading Hoshizuna Rio and Elson Tanaro at the exit of turn 1. And looking into the rest of the field here, Javier Lusby under pressure from Angela Sims. If you want to know about Hofumi is currently ahead by 6.5 seconds over Sean Polly, as Iskaji Mikolev almost gets his car done and dusted, as he will have to get back out again just to check the race field monitor again. This is how it looks so far.
Yes, indeed. So there's a few drivers who will need to pit at the end of this lap, which includes Wimberley and Tanaro and Bertelsen. But yeah, looking at Polly, he's got 13 leads in. So there's a few drivers who are still under fueling by a fair way, you would say. But Mikolev is out 13 seconds clear roughly of Fumai.
So with Wimberley needing to pit shortly, we'll potentially get to see how that overcut works. Mikolev seemed a bit scruffy on that last lap, so maybe lacking pace on the out lap, so it's a good opportunity for Wimberley to make that jump.
Indeed is, yeah. Here is Wimberley coming into the pits, and you'd say Antanaro will be following. Yes, Antanaro is coming into the pits. Domashnev has to continue forwards, tries to get a little bit of a slipstream, but has to move away from it. There's now moves up into second on the road behind Rio, who has now clear track ahead of him to really work.
Yeah, so Rio, Domashnev and Gibbons making the top 3 now. Obviously not the net top 3, obviously will be with us for a bit as the rounds of pit stops continue. Obviously positions will be changing lap by lap. So Mikolev, Fumai and Molly's at the back sitting. I'm just trying to figure out who's going to be where at the end. We'll have to give it a bit as we look at Riva. I believe that's on Kaczynski. Heading into the corner, not really going for a move here, just tucking in behind.
And speaking of which, looking into the changes in tires here, Fumi and Polly on medium tires, despite them going to pit in the next few laps anyways. Mono Zetaro is hanging on very decently in 9th place on that medium tire. This would mean that Zetaro should be in a decent position to jump up a lot of positions here, given that he is going to go for the long game. Hoshizuna Rio, meanwhile, is going to be one of 3 drivers going to be joining into the pits alongside fellow Gen 2 member representative Rim Olgor and Jay Goodwin from Holotype Gamers, well, for representing Holotype Gamers, this Okami Mio. And looking into the situation with the leaders here and the current battle that we're seeing, right now Zeke Wimberley has already pitted. He's already like 1 second ahead of Antanarao. Mikolev is now 3.8 seconds ahead of Wimberley. How does that sound for the rest of the race?
So the rest of the race, obviously, we're going to expect another round of pit stops later on. We'll have to look to see how much fuel each of the drivers took in that first stop, because some obviously may underfuel again or take a full tank. You can see that Mikolev has maintained the net lead, I believe, or just looking at lead 4.5 seconds to Wimberley now. So maybe potentially Mikolev took in less fuel. or just had a really good outlap.
Well, there was that compromise that Wimberley had getting spooked by Mikolev coming into the pits earlier, as we see Rio come out of the pits just behind Mikolev, but crucially ahead of Wimberley and Antanarau. So the overcut strategy has worked for Rio, but still a fair way back from Mikolev. So I would say potentially that Mikolev has actually put less fuel into the car.
Yeah, it just seems probably a bit more composed now. Got a bit checked up on that in lap, and that's Archie locking up into Dunlop. Not really going for a move there, so we're still tucking behind. Go for the slipstream on the main straight. Taking on Evans at the moment, but 6 tenths, 7 tenths the margin. I think that slipstream's not really going to work out. Can possibly get a bit closer, but not probably close enough for a move to T1.
Oh, and that's Sean Pauly there. I just noticed though he actually went off. Looks like he had another bit of an off there. The thing broke. Yeah, he braked into the grass coming to the hairpin. That might explain why he actually went off there. And anyways, Monozetaro is now up into 6th place with more drivers coming into the pits. Nice to see that there's a good amount of comeback on this indigo colored Oro Crony number 92, wanting to be faster than everyone, at least maybe try to accelerate time, at least for Zetaro himself. But we'll see how it goes from here, as we're already past a 20% lap distance. And right now, I think there is a similar, I'm not sure what we call it though. I think this is a vein here, not exactly, but there's this precedence here. So essentially, it's similar to Split B, on which it is a slow burner, rather than Split A, which was very, very chaotic. But of course, we're racing in different conditions. We're now racing in pretty much warmer conditions, slightly warmer than what we had in yesterday's races. But for now, I would say that it's following the same pattern as the Split B races, which is a slow burner. But I would like to pay attention to the mid stage and the final stages of the race in this case.
Yeah, definitely a lot to play for here. I just want to draw a bit of attention. P13, 14, and 15. Definitely now a little battle pack here. So we've got Rio heading up the train here. Wembley behind and Tonru in 15th place. Both 4 tenths each from each other. So a little slipstream train to look out for on the main straight. We'll see him move come up here.
Mikolev has just absolutely run away from him. 8.3 seconds to gap between Mikolev and Rio now, and before it was only about a second before they did the pit stop. So Mikolev has really put the foot down. 29.8 on that last lap. Rio, meanwhile, on the last lap would probably be more at 31.7. So doesn't have any pace right now.
And not much pace. I'll be interested to see fuel levels as Antonio goes. Well, that's a dive and a half, but parks it up on the apex, holds the line. Exit was a bit scuffy, clips the grass a bit there, but I think there's still a little bit of overlap into the corner. Sparks flying, trying to hold around the outside, goes off the track, holds the inside for 100. We saw this as a common battle spot in the invitational race, trying to hold around the outside into the hairpin, goes the long way around and gets the overtake done.
Nicely done. Probably a little bit less legal than would have been expected, but still great move from Antanarau to move up in the P14 on the road mark. There's still plenty of drivers ahead who are yet to pit. The lead driver who has pit is Mikolev there in P12.
Yeah, also speaking about Antanarau though, if you saw his dive bomb and a half, I mean, I was surprised to see that development happening, but at the very least, Zeke Wimberley knew that Antanarau was probably going to make a dive bomb given Antanarau's closing speed. So at the very least, Wimberley expected Antanarau to close in and make a dive bomb. So there's a good amount of respect between these drivers. Well, usually, as Isakaji Mikolev now sets the fastest lap, 29.5, still 5 tenths away from the elusive 128s. But again, back to the topic of respect. There's just a lot of respect for these drivers who are giving it their all for their Oshis and all that stuff, for their Kami-Oshis. And speaking of the thing further back here, Sean Pauly, here comes another pit stop.
Yeah,
so Sean Pauly's going for the 5-stop pit strategy at this stage.
Yeah, that's probably not the optimal strat at the moment. And Sean Paul is the only one on critical fuel. It looks like everyone else is sorted at least for the next few laps as Polly enters the stall and gets some more fuel, maybe new tyres as well. But I don't think we're expecting anyone else in the next lap at least.
Yes, still very, very early. We're only a quarter of the way through this race, so you wouldn't expect there to be too many pit stops. Angela Sims, she's on the back now of Lusby ahead, setting good speed in the speed trap, but has to keep one eye behind as well. Prower looking dangerous behind as well, looking through the field. Some more. Evans with the personal best of a 31.1. Kaczynski will come to the line soon. We'll see what the lap times there from Kaczynski, Reba and Mikolev. Mikolev now up to a bit of traffic, so a lot faster than Kaczynski and Reba, but catching is one thing, overtaking's another.
Yeah, Mikolev looks like going to be held up a bit against these slower drivers. So Kaczynski, Reba and Mikolev in their own pack. And obviously Mikolev is the net race leader, so this will be of a detriment to him. So still just stuck behind, heading through 100R. Can't really make a move here for now, so maybe just has to sit back and wait for opportunity, not take too many risks.
Indeed. See what happens as the race continues to progress. Still plenty of time for Mikolev to make moves, but he doesn't want to get stuck too well behind these guys because Rio is catching quickly now.
Yeah, Rio had a bit of a reprieve after Tuna and Wimbley had their little scuffle there as we look at Prower now in P5 right behind Sims, a 31 flat for the last lap, so decent lap time, not the fastest, but still keeping it on the track for now, and that's what matters. Dmytrenko yet to pit, so currently leading 6 seconds to Vince.
Looking on board now, Lusby's just sort of stuck in his own little air at the moment, broken free from Sims a little bit. Prower still all over the back of Sims, who can't quite seem to keep pace at the moment with Lusby. Is Mikolev still can't get through on Kaczynski or Reba, and that's allowing Rio to catch by about 2 seconds a lap.
Yeah, I saw that. And speaking of closing in here, also looking at Alcantara, who's also not very bad himself, as he is also around 0.5 of a second behind Hoshizuna Rio. And looking at back into the likes of Javier Lusby. Javier Lusby is actually pulling away slightly against Sims. Prower is still causing some nerves here for the ninth, that is Angela Sims. And for Isagaki Mikolev, though, still under serious pressure though, but doesn't really matter anyway, as he might need to actually go into the pits once again. If you look at the fuel loads, only 2 laps of fuel remaining, so for every lap, if you see in the FXL, that's the amount of fuel consumed per liter, and you can see here the average fuel consumed would be at around 1.9, so that is going to be something to pay attention to.
Yeah, if I were I'd consider maybe just pitting a bit early, get out of this traffic. Probably explains the margin it built up over that second stint, but obviously under fuel we'll have to stop again. Maybe not going in this lap, so maybe the next lap, but is still compromised by this traffic.
Very much so, as Antanarel closing in on Rio. Has some really good paces in Antanarel, and perhaps the prophecy of starting P4 is true after all, as still seeing Mikolev stuck behind Kaczynski and Reba. They're definitely going on and looking more at a potential one-stop strategy, which seems like a pretty decent option given it's been a lot harder to find overtaking in this race.
Yeah, like compared to the Invitationals, obviously we had a higher entry list there. It was definitely a lot more aggressive, argy-bargy side by side. They've obviously shorter race, more cars, it's a bit more dramatic, but I think people here are sort of more taking their time, biding their time and trying to find the right strategy. As we are on board with Prower here, still sitting behind Sims, still not really close enough to make a move. He's taking, actually, no, not side by side, just taking a little look there, but we'll need to dive back and go for the inside. Gets a bit closer, but not close enough there, 310 kilometers in the speed trap, so very fast holotype. So as we look, I believe that's Mykolev that will need to pit next.
Yeah, and also after Mykolev, there will be a massive amount of activity in the pit lane, given that we will be seeing the likes of Antarao, Rem Olgor, and then also Jake Goodwin, Hoshizuna Rio. Zeke Wimberly is also being called in the same lap as Zeke Wimberly and Mykolev. And yeah, this is what we mentioned here. This is where pit stop activities are going to go absolutely crazy, as right now we have Rio and Antanara temporarily holding onto their positions right now. Now, based on what we're seeing here, I don't think the prophecy for the race win is going to apply, given that they are pretty much under field at the start. But as for the other drivers, I feel like the realistic chances should go to Vladislav Tomashnev, Callum Gibbons, and Javier Luzby, and also Angela Sims and Gray Prower, who have shown very good racecraft up to this point, especially the Tomashnev, who has a almost 7.7-second lead over Gibbons at the moment.
Yeah, so very commended lead. Obviously highly fueled up the car, so the one stop is a big opportunity here as Sims still taking a look at Losby here. Having a look inside, might be able to go for a driver. Actually, this was a bit of a squeeze there. Gets squeezed to the inside, side by side into turn 1. Holds the inside line, but the move is not done yet. I think they might know she's going to tuck back in behind. Going to tuck behind, but no, mate. No, outside, inside, where are you going? Takes Coca-Cola corner. Yeah, just sits back. I think the move is not on there.
Yeah, Lisby did react to that look to the inside from Sims, but ultimately didn't really show too much of that. So before we saw Mykolev on the back of Reba Kaczynski, but now Mykolev has pit. It's now Rio on the back, so and Tanarao and Wimberley also coming into the pits, so we'll see what the comparison is like. They're coming into the pits to try and avoid being stuck behind Kaczynski and Reba. We'll see what the gap ends up being like. There's going to be some there's some interesting pit strategies going on here.
Yeah.
Unsure how many stops they really want to actually achieve.
So Jay Goodwin now continuing on with his run so far. He will be pinning in the next lap or two. Same goes with Sean Pauly and Rim Olgor. Next drivers to come into the pits, hopefully me and Ethan Burleson. Ethan Burleson is currently running in a pretty ish position in 17th right now. He's already out, and Zeke Wimberly, who is ahead of Alton Tarao based on what I'm seeing here. So not sure what's happening in the pit box for the number 5 team, but right now Alton Tarao has lost out to Wimberly.
Be interesting to see what the fuel loads are like for the two drivers, whether there's been more put on. So Zeke Wimberly has 18 in, and Tarao also has 18. So yeah, I think that is just a genuine jump in the pits there.
Yeah, just generally a better job done by the crews there as they came out back into traffic. As we look at it's all side by side here. Sims, I think that's Losby as well. Bit of a scuffle, I believe that's heading into 300. Angela clipping the grass there, still holding the inside line for 300. Is going to go for Dunlop corner. We saw before how holding the inside in Dunlop does not mean the move is done. They're still side by side, and I think a bit of door banging on the exit there. We'll have to tap back in behind and try again later.
That's a great
yeah, it looks like
though.
Sims just went a little bit too deep there and compromised the exits. Lesby was not going to give any sort of extra room for Sims to move out wide. So yeah, a little bit of door bang, and Sims ultimately has to stay behind.
Yeah, so right now Angela Sims trying to pick the lock of Javier Luzby's defense with that move around the inside to capitalize on Luzby's mistakes. You saw him actually running wide at the 100R corner, and now we get to see Angela Sims trying to pierce through his defenses, but he actually managed to remain steadfast in defense, as now we get to see the Animal Vista driver now come into the pits And looking into the rest of the field here, we're now past the first third of this race. So you can say that we have already passed 90 plus kilometers already. And looking into the rest of the field here, looking at Tanarao still chasing Zeke Grimley. They still have around maybe 7-6 laps before they'll have to pit again. But looking into the drivers who have already made a pit stop, Angela Sims is, I believe, not good. Oh wait, she is going to go for longer here, 25 laps of fuel. So it will not be enough. She will be pitting on lap 50. Oshi's rear is now going to come in, as well as Olgor, Goodwin, and Loosby.
Yeah, still looking like the top three is going to be going on for quite a while. Dimishnev still holding a commanding lead of 9 seconds as Loosby still right behind Prout at the moment, going through sector 3. Tidy sector 3 there, might get a chance to slipstream on the main straight, but not sure it's too close yet unless you want to go for a very ambitious dive, but otherwise we'll tuck in and try and grab the extra speed. Or it looks like here, no, maybe going pits now.
Yeah, so reacting, as we see Rio coming out of the pits now. Where is Rio going to be in comparison to Wimberley and Tanarao? Side by side with Wimberley, and Wimberley's going to get ahead with the undercut. But can Rio hold on? Just have to go around the outside on cold tyres through Coca-Cola corner. So this is going to be interesting. I think Wimberley might be able to get this done, and does. So Wimberley with the undercut.
Yeah, cold tyres, that just wasn't really going to work out, and obviously not under pressure. If again from Tanaru obviously has the warmer tyres, the more grip, the more speed, so maybe a good chance heading into sector 3, but we are under a lot of pressure at the moment while trying to get those tyres up to temperature.
Yes, indeed. So can Tanarao get a move done before Rio's tyres come up to temp? Because Rio looked very, very, very quick previously as Lisby comes out of the pits behind Sims. So Sims has gotten the jump, but they both seem to go quite long on their fuel stops. In fact, it's only half a second. So let's have a look for Lusby. 26 laps fueled up for. So we'll be coming in around the same time as Sims later in the race. But Sims with the undercut has gotten the advantage.
And now we're going to, hang on, just want to check on Elson Tanarao here, potentially trying to make a move against, we get to see Callum Gibbons though, trying to clear the lap car of Sean Pauly. Meanwhile, we are going to check, and Tanarao, there's an banging between the two. Sean Pauly not wanting to give Gibbons any grip, as right now that's probably going to give a bit of frustration though for the number 64 Robocore driver, as Tanarao continues to stay behind Hoshizuna Rio. And speaking of fuel here, as we mentioned, Javier Lusby looking to possibly at the latest pit on maybe lap 52, and also Angela Sid looking to pit at the latest lap 50. But if I am correct with the trends here, the difference in grip as you come into the end of the race is very much like night and day. If you run on scuffed tires, that you're probably going to be running in 32s and 33s. But if you have those fresh tires bolted in, you're going to be bolting through with the 29s and the 30s. And so if you feel confident that you want to make some moves right at the end, or you want to get fastest lap, there's always the realistic option of bolting in those new tires.
Yes, that's where the two-stop bar maybe if they would take a stop halfway through, and depending on your position, or you want to go for fastest lap, take another stop near the end and so get those very much fresh tyres. Given still stuck behind there. I'm not sure if the blue flags have been hitted as Dimishnev pits from the lead.
And speaking of which, I just wanted to actually answer a comment from the live chat. What am I watching? Well, you're watching the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5-hour split C race. Of course, the members are going to be performing in Makari Messe in a few hours' time. But we're going to play our part in helping promote the fest and the expo by hyping up the event through racing. And with that being said, this is the Split C race that is going to coincide with stage 3 of the Colorized Harmony concert. So with that being said, if you want to know more information, there's the QR code in the bottom right of your screen. If it appears at the bottom right of your screen, if you want to know more info and ticketing prices, the QR code is always down there. So speaking of which, the Mostev bits and is now out in 5th place. It's going to be very interesting to see how the other drivers are going to be responding, especially Gibbons, Grant, Evans, Adachi, etc.
So Demeshnev will have to do another pit stop. He's filled up for 28 laps. So that won't get him to the end. We'll get him to about lap 52. So we'll still need to do one more stop, but it'll be a quick stop that he has to do. Gibbons continues on. He basically had a full tank in the car. He could definitely do a one-stop strategy in this race.
Yeah, obviously I have no control over my own car, but I would hope it will be a full tank. Like, you don't want to underfuel, because my observation, Mikolev has underfueled the car again, and it's going to take another stop very soon. So definitely not in that lead anymore. As we look at Antonio on Rio in the slipstream down the main straight, creeping up, getting closer. 1 minute 30.9 from both of them, so neck and neck in terms of pace. Looking down the inside right now. Hard braking into turn 1. Holds the inside cleanly. I think there's a little bit of contact there. I think that was Rio just turning in a bit there, getting really defensive, but otherwise holds the position for now.
Yeah, all right. Just wanted to add on that a little bit. So anyways, if you don't know what I'm referencing here, it's actually one of Roboco's single song, also titled Little Bit. So if you want to listen to Little Bit, then it's available on streaming platforms and all that stuff. Roboco, very much a serviceable virtual YouTuber. Now the story goes, I just wanted to go a bit of a tangent here while we see Antanarao and Rio battle it out in the Okayu and Nakure Ayame cars. Now, Gibbo's Oshi is actually from Nijisanji. It is actually Folger Ovid, and he's actually a cyborg, and Roboco is a full-on robot. So there is a similarity between the two, and so that's why Count Gibbons represents Roboco. I mean, if you look at the history, at the very least, Gibbo can look back onto his very successful 2023 campaign, where he won one Formula Holotype race and got the Split A title. And in Hall G3 was even better. 3 wins, Split A title, and then the full season title.
Yeah, clearly I'm just a cyborg and robots person, but this is Holotype, so you see the Roboco car here as Ontario is looking behind Rio at the moment. Still couldn't make the move into turn 1. As we now look at Pro, who's right behind Sims, so definitely a couple of battles going on at the moment. As Malcar has a 30-second lead, so going very long as the first stint.
Very much so. Yeah, it's been interesting to see how different the strategies have been between the drivers. Looks like we have Kaczynski coming into the pits now. Reba staying out there under pressure from Sims and Prower. We'll see where there can be moves made into turn 1. Sims is having a look. Prower equally. Will there be a dive going into turn 1? There is a dive from Angela Sims. Will there be contacts? Very little. But it looks like Reba does manage to hold. It doesn't seem like the drivers have been able to make the moves into turn 1 on this race. Sims gets onto the curve that could compromise the line and does, but manages to stay side by side and through 100R now. Should be able to get ahead of Reba and does so. So nicely done as Lusby gets a little bit compromised behind Prower.
Yeah, once again, maybe consider the legality of that overtake. People like to go wide at Coca-Cola corner to try and hold that inside to 100R, but nevertheless, the race rages on as we're still with Prower heading into Dunlop corner in sector 3, not really going for a move here. Just looking at the timing screen through my in the pits again as well, as we see a few other movers. I think Toro and Kaczynski were moving around as well. As look at the fuel monitor, I'll let you add on to that.
Yeah, so fuel monitor right now looking at, well, there's quite a few drivers that need to come to the pits now. So Adachi's in, Grants will have to come in on this lap, you would say. As we look at Prower, it looks like, yeah, it's just gonna try and get a slipstream where possible on Reba and has to back out of it, and that's compromised his run, and Lusby's through.
Yeah, very opportunistic there. Just got checked up, trying to slipstream into pit entry. It's like, oh no, wait, I've got to get back on the main circuit, and loses the position. Reba in the pits as well. Adachi coming out as well. Just let's look at the timing screen. You can see Adachi, a big mover at the moment as well. 12 positions up. Grant also a big mover, 14 positions up. Obviously some still have to stop, some might have to stop again, but still a decent track position at this point.
Yeah, I just wanted to update Kaminari Reba and Takeda Adachi have full tanks of fuel, 62 liters in their fuel tanks. This means they will run until the end of the race. Ray Prao and Mono Zetaro are not going to be running the entirety of this race with that fuel tank. They will have to pit again. Alex Grant is also going to be coming into the pits. Zeke Grimberly will also make a move into the pits soon, as we can see here. Zeke Grimberly with 2 liters of fuel to go. Same goes for Antaro. So we're going to be expecting pit stop activity between these drivers. And speaking of which, right now we are coming into the second half of this race. Alex Grant now comes into the pits. Mikalev has already responded. Paulie is now out. So right now the battle for the wooden spoon is now going to be in favor of maybe hopefully me, as Sean Paulie is currently last.
Yeah, last by 16 seconds there. So sort of a no man's land at the moment, maybe holding up some faster traffic that want to lap themselves. Grant still in the pits as well as Lusby and Prowl moves up. Looking at Evans in P9 right behind Adachi heading into sector 3. Adachi and Evans sort of in their own pack in the moment, so it's just those two for that section there on the main straight. Looking at the slipstream, getting a bit closer. Creeping up that margin. I'm not sure it's going to be close enough. 1:33.1 for the final last lap, but actually is close enough. Goes for a move down the inside, hard braking into turn 1. Not ahead at the apex, just has to tuck back in, but may see another opportunity into Coca-Cola corner. Holding around the outside, we've seen some really desperate and sometimes unfortunate moves out the outside, but holds it on the curb, holds it around the outside. I think just holds on track through 100. Holding the inside. There's Adachi. Now turns into the inside line for the hairpin. Still holding on. Still holding on. I think Evans is just going to come out ahead.
That's probably the cleanest move we've seen all race. Didn't try to be over aggressive into turn 1. Left enough room. Was able to get enough of an exit to stay side by side going down towards Coca-Cola corner. And that was all really finished up. Coming out the exit there, the hairpin. We saw a lot of moves there in the previous race, not so many in this race, but good to see from Evans getting that move on the Adachi up to P8 in such a manner that he did it.
Yeah, we were talking about respect before. That was a good demonstration of that right there. Gave each other plenty of space, but also some good hard racing as well, as we look at Goodwin, who's right behind Reba. Now Adachi in P9, back behind Evans is few people still in the pits. Well, actually, it's just the one car in the pits at the moment, but probably, well, myself coming in, who's gone on a very, very long stint, still in the lead, 20 on lap 29, so I believe might just make lap 30 and could make the win.
Just coming into the pits now, yes.
Yes, just wanted to remind everyone, Callum Gibbons always wins in the inaugural race that he's entered in every series. In 2022, Holo GT3 wins for Ozora in Fuji. 2023 wins for Roboco in Fuji. In Formula Holotype in the first race in Split A, and the first competitive race that he's entered in the series. And remember this, this is Holotype. Will the trend repeat itself again?
I will try not to curse myself here and say too much, because we saw what happened in the Invitational race. Obviously very different circumstances, not points pain, but I'm just going to hope for the best.
Yes, indeed. So Gibbons comes out 4.5 seconds behind Domeshnov. Be interesting to see how much fuel Gibbons has put, where he's committing to a 1-stop or a 2-stop. But given he came in just before the halfway point of the race, I would say a 2-stop is going to be the go for Callum Gibbons, and he'll look to do 2 short stints, about 15 laps in length, to finish out the race.
Looks like Sims at the moment just be behind some lap traffic at the moment. We're sort of getting to the point, obviously halfway point in this race, and field is very spread out. Some doing a lot better than others, some getting themselves lapped. Blue flags seem to be really a guideline, so some of the faster drivers having difficulty in ahead. Just looking at the fuel monitor, at least for myself.
You're to the end.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm absolutely jolly.
So one-stop strategy there for Callum Gibbons is looking like it's going to be the go, and that puts him in a brilliant position. But as was mentioned earlier, it's once we come to the end of the race, there's going to be a big pace disparity between those who are pitting more often and someone like Callum Gibbons, who's only done the one stop.
And just wanted to remind everyone, Hoshizuna Ryo and Rim Olgor are going to be set to come into the pits, as well as Jake Goodwin. Al Santaro will be pitting in the next 8 laps or so. Sean Pauli in the next 4 laps. And also Fumi once again, so lots of pit stop activity for the number 36 car, not the one that he's looking for. Meanwhile, looking into the rest of the field, will there be more battles left, right, and center? I really can't say anything about that. But we're already past the halfway stage for the Color Race Harmony Fuji 5-hour split C race, and nice to see lots of very much a big turnout here. Lots of people dropping support for the stream and all that stuff. Very much appreciate everyone's support here for Holotype and racing in general, as we are now coming into the new era of Holotype racing. This is just Holotype based on the colorized idle outfits. We've seen how it works in the stages 1 and 2, and now we are trying our best to emulate this through racing in the form of the Creators Race and Split C for today, which is on Rio, as I mentioned, coming into the pits.
Indeed, so Rio and Elgor into the pits. Rio, there's been plenty of pit stops. I mean, you're going to have a range from 1-stop strategies all the way to 5-stop strategies. So some interesting choices for a few of these drivers. As Goodwin also comes into the pits, as was mentioned before, he was always going to be coming in. Be interesting to see where Rio comes out in comparison to Wembley and Tanara. I think Miklev has the advantage over those drivers pretty convincingly, but overall there's just been too many stops from the top 4. They've all kind of thrown themselves into a bit of a mix-up. I'm talking about the top 4 from qualifying, that is, of course. The actual top 5 in this race have only done the one stop. In fact, Prower and Lusby have just set identical lap times on the previous lap. That never happens, but it's happened now, so...
Literally never happens, but it does here. Anything can happen, and anything can happen in this last half of the race. Said Goodwin still in the pits. Rio at the moment, 312 kilometers.
Oh, Rio's come out a long way down from Tanara. I wonder if he's just dumped the fuel into the car.
Yeah, we'll have to have a
yes,
look.
He has, so he's still to the end now.
Still to the end, so barring any major mistakes or miscommunications from pit crew, is sorted to the very end. I just sometimes wonder with these drivers who are pitting 4 or 5 times, did they get the wrong fuel tank in their cars and they've got like a 10-litre fuel tank?
It's probably just a bug, but it's something that really can be fixed sometimes. I mean, if it strikes you, then too late. But whatever the case is, there's still more battles to come, and Santaro is going to be pitting soon. He's going to give up his 14th place. Meanwhile, Great Prower now on the hunt against Javier Lusby, who has been pretty okay in Formula Holland International this campaign. Of course, 2nd place for Vesta Zeta. He is in a championship battle with Ryan Kagawa in an International Ravencroft number 76. But Kagawa races in Split A, so Lusby's goal for this one is to bring that Zeta number 07 into a very healthy position. And by healthy position, I mean seriously healthy position in the top of the standings. And right now he's doing a very much good favor, for himself and for the team as he now gets up into 4th place. Vlasa Domashnev, though, is another driver that I want to pay attention to, because Domashnev, while he does have to pit again sometime down the line, he will have a very quick car, and if let's say Callum Gibbons gets stuck in traffic due to the lack of blue flag rules in Santa Corsa, hate the game in this case, don't hate the player, but whatever the case is, Domashnev might actually still have a chance to maybe eke out a challenge for a win against Gibbons. Who knows?
Stay with the top three, just making an observation. Look at the timing screen. Looks like Sims is slowly catching up to my car. I have to have a look at the fuel load. Maybe Sims. Does Sims have to pit again?
Sims still does have to pit again.
Yes.
10 laps to go as Fumi comes into the pits.
Yeah, so obviously lighter fuel load, probably a bit faster in this initial phase of the race, but as I said, has to pit again. So some good pace, but might not mean anything in terms of front and win, but we'll have fresher tyres at the end, so we'll have to wait and see on that as we are looking at Prower at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Prower half a second behind Lusby. They've been having a good battle throughout, about 10th faster on the previous lap as Antanarau gets through on Wimberley.
Yeah, probably maybe able to dive into turn one there. We just only caught the end there. We didn't actually see them through. That must have been a good move there. We haven't really seen many people seal the overtake at T1. But really very good move there as Wimberley now drops back a second behind.
Yes, indeed. So I wonder if there was a bit of a mistake there somewhere. But either way, it's intriguing to say the least as we look at Evans now, who is chasing after who's that? Yeah, Grant's there in P7, so 1.5 seconds back right now. There's not really too many close gaps out there at the minute. Still a lot of pit strategies taking shape.
And right now, Great Power still on the hunt against Javier Lusby using the power of Jaws inherited by Gargura. Great Power trying to channel his inner Dale Earnhardt as far as driving style is concerned. The guy that enjoys monster trucks, chasing forums and New York Mets. And right now, Great Power hasn't been finding a lot of pace though against Lusby, who just continues to pull away against Brower, knows what he needs to do. If you know him, you know that he is a savvy veteran when driving cars and like any cars in general. So he knows what he needs to do. He has experience, so he knows what is expected from him when it comes to battling against other cars. But for now, looking into the rest of the field, back into the race field monitor, Zeke Rimboldi and Nisakaji Mikola will have to pit once again. Hopefully, is finally loaded with enough fuel to finish this race. Not sure why it has to be now, but again, it happens. Anyways, the drivers who are going to be pitting again, Bertelsen, Sims, Lusby, Dan Evans as well. If you're not around in the 40 liter to 60 liters thing, then you're probably not going to be good until the end of this race. And if you're actually looking into Riba and Adachi, 35 and 35 laps complete, or in lap 35, 34 laps complete, 24 laps to go. They will have to pit in the absolute final stages of this race if they want to bring something. Alex Grant might just be able to eke out enough of the fuel to finish the race with that fuel tank. Sean Pauli, Goodwin, Olgor, Kaczynski, Rio will be good right until the end. Same goes for Count Gibbons. Well, as far as activities are concerned, watch out for Mikolev. He's going to be coming in again soon.
Yeah, once again, not really converting that pole position into a competitive result. Still sitting 12 for the moment, still some time left in the comeback, but you keep on stopping, you're not really going to be making any gains, so a bit unfortunate there. Obviously, have a control how MAC works with their fuel, but is what it is. As we look at Great Power and Lusby still a bit together, like they're not just sort of holding station at the moment, not really going for it. It's actually not really close enough. I think Lusby's actually increased that margin over the past couple of laps, so the field has sort of settled down a bit.
Yeah, definitely is. And Tanarau is behind presumably either a lapped car or no, good car or lap ahead. That's you. And you're probably going to get overtaken soon and unlapped.
I think my tyres are probably a bit scuffed now at this point. Like it's been actually I put them on recently, so it can't be that bad.
Well, it would be more the fuel load, just the fuel load. But you are putting in reasonable times compared to Domishnev and Sims, so doing reasonably well in the battles that you care about, and because you don't have to do any pit stops to end, you put yourself in a great position to take the win in this one, provided you can hold on.
And as long as I don't get rear-ended by lap traffic here, Santana was going to go for a move here to unlap themselves. I'm hoping that my car just gives enough room, just to be like, yep, you go, you bugger off, I'm just going to hold my position. Going down the inside of turn 1. Scuffle there. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, it's looking a bit tight, and Santana will do it. It's still side by side, still side by side. This is very sketchy. But I think Santana will end up getting it in the end.
Oh, no, yep, just gets it now. Okay, just stay there. Don't do anything stupid. I mean, Sims is already now within 3 seconds behind, so that is not ideal. Obviously, I believe Sims has to stop again, but still not ideal for track position.
Yeah, and also losing 1.5 seconds in the process, Gibbons there. But at the very least, if the car is in the right place at the right time, but at the very least, Antara gave Gibbons a lot of racing action, trying to keep him on his toes. And unfortunately, as I mentioned, great amount of respect between these drivers, and this is what I mean about respect and dedication to their craft. I mean, these drivers are representing their respective Oshis, their virtual YouTubers in Holotype, who are scheduled to perform in ARO and all that stuff. So there's this heavy amount of weight and expectation that you have. So you have to live up to these expectations if you probably want to bring the best out of your performances, as Antara and Wimbledon now finally inevitably come into the pits. So it all comes down to just about nothing in the end. So no harm really done. So it's all okay. So in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Some brilliant battling for Antara on Gibbons just before coming to the pits, just to try and give Antara a little bit more of an opportunity to creep back onto the back of Gibbons towards the end of the race, but Gibbons more than a lap the difference now. I don't think that's going to be happening.
Yeah, I think like if you're lapped already, that's probably settles the result for some part at least. Obviously still a bit to play for in the midfield and the rear end as well, as we're looking at Prowl. Lusby still somewhat attached to each other, so it seems to be a constant throughout this race. 1 second margin, so not really close enough to make any moves just yet, but still keep in touch and see how those tyres go later in the stint.
And speaking of which, just wanted to take a look into Takeda Adachi. The gaps dropped down to less than a second between himself and Adachi, and as you can see, if you want to know why, Zeke Wimberly is causing trouble to Dan Evans though, and right now Adachi is going to be in a serious position to use that Shirakawa Fuji number 22 as the pick for Adachi to move a position, and right now Adachi is creeping in closer and closer. The guy was a second at the exit of turn 1, now it's 0.3 of a second at the Dunlop chicane. It's going to get a bit messy there between the Ina and the Yofi cars, but let's see how it goes from here.
Yeah, if we go slipstream train heading into the main show, step blue flag seems to be a guideline here, so everyone's getting very compromised there. Adachi just sitting in behind. We're going to get some good speed out of the final corner, so we'll just give them a bit as they head into that side corner, the final corner before the long front straight, the long time. Well, you can't kick back and relax here because, you know, you got a battle going on, so Adachi is still sitting behind Evans, can slipstream 3 tenths or 4 tenths the margin at the moment.
Evans has been helped by some slipstream of his own though, for presumably a car on a different lap, because it doesn't look like it's gap to Granton up the inside. Gonna try and have a go. This might compromise him a little bit, but he does take it very carefully as he did previously and might be able to go for the move around the outside through Coca-Cola corner. Bottoms out a lot. We'll have to be careful not to run too wide and compromise the run, but not too bad. Does bottom out a bit and will now be able to get through, you would think, on this car. Zeke Wimberly actually, who's just come out of the pits, so probably still suffering a little bit from cold tire temperatures, but also heavier fuel load than what Evans would be running.
Yeah, a bit scuffy there, but got the move done in the end, and Evans remains ahead, so Adachi's still looking for a move there, and is now, stuck behind Wimberly, so now it's going to be the one disadvantage in this situation.
Yeah, although Wimberley building up the tire temperature, building up the speed, you would think would be able to get a move back on Evans eventually, and that might give Adachi the opportunity to get through on Evans with the fighting side by side. We'll have a look at the fuel loads once again, and it seems like, yeah, there's a few drivers who are now set to go to the end of the race. Antanarel set to go to the end of the race. Wimberley set to go to the end of the race. Rio set to go to the end of the race. Goodwin, Pumi, Gibbons, Mikolev. There's a lot of drivers now who are right to go to the end, but many have had to do plenty more stops to be able to do that.
And right now, just want to pit, just to name a few, Dan Evans looking to pit as late as lap 54, Sims as late as lap 45, Lusby as late as 47, and then there is also Gray Prower, Monozetaro. So a lot of the EN and ID class cars are going for a strung out double stop strategy. But you know, I'm having a very good feeling though that Damasha, with that 11-second gap that he's had over Callum Gibbons right now, it's gonna be a pretty interesting fight in the final 10 laps to see who's gonna be taking this big W in Split C.
Yeah, and that's going to rely on a lot of things. Obviously, going to get that stop right, have the right amount of fuel, hopefully not come out into traffic and make use of those fresh tyres. But for now, Gibbons my car, 11 seconds behind, sort of on his own at the moment, so he can just maintain pace. Knows it doesn't need to stop again, so just keep it clean, keep it, well, not too easy, but be somewhat relaxed. But obviously still a bit to fight for at the end, and may come under pressure towards the end.
Going to be all about consistency to the end for Gibbons, just trying to keep it on the circuit, keep it with some consistent lap times, and it should theoretically lead to a result from this. Pit lane transfer takes a while, changing tyres, adding fuel will also take a little bit, so Gibbons is in a great position to be about 30 seconds clear of Domeshnov, or 20 seconds clear of Domeshnov after the pit stops. It's just how much an advantage Domeshnov has after those stops.
Well, I just want to remind everyone on how the differences in the tires would go. Well, there's an issue with lap cars on the other hand, but we'll talk about that any other day. But for now, the pace, the difference between those who have fresh tires and those who don't have fresh tires, or basically scuff tires, would be at around maybe 2 or 3 seconds a lap. So if the gap between the Masham and Gibbons are at 20 seconds with 10 laps to go, then it's going to be a massive spanner in the works, as Angela Sims is now actually piling on the pressure on Gibbons right now in this battle for P3. You look at the previous lap that Angela Sims has outputted, and you can absolutely sense that Sims is also gunning for this overall win.
Yeah, gunning for it indeed, and this with my car, obviously the higher fuel load, a bit slower in the 31s. It's not a bad time, but they could be a bit quicker, so now under pressure already. I was saying like a bit relaxed before on his own, but not anymore.
Might just need to start pushing a little bit with the lap times a bit more if possible, as Mikolev is now behind Goodwin, looking to make a move up into P14. Similar situation to what we saw with Evans and Adachi before, where you have Goodwin chasing after a car on different laps, again the slipstream effect there, and helping to defend against Mikolev, who we've seen has great pace in this race.
Great Power still behind Losby as well, still being the theme throughout this race, but a lot closer now. So 2 taps, 3 taps and margins, so definitely close up right there. Might be going for a move onto the main straight, just needs a good exit, wide approach into the final corner. Just a bit outside the apex, I think a little bit of rear end step out, but 5 tenths to margin out into this front straight. No slipstream for Losby, so it's all advantage to Proud at the moment. Going to get close enough for the move as we look at Sims still right behind myself. Hasn't tried going for a move yet. 5 tenths to margin there. Losby and Proud behind. Can't quite see where they're at. Prower just stayed behind.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, couldn't get close enough down the main straight to try for a move into turn 1. Somebody may be able to make a move into turn 1 is Mikolev. He's only a few tenths behind Goodwin right now, and it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, it does look looks like Goodwin's actually looking for a move into the inside on the current different lap. Does have a little bit of context that compromises the run. Mikolev's too far back to capitalize on this right now, but it's very tight for this minor position right at the bottom end of the points.
Yep, just wanted to remind everyone also about basically the positions gained and lost. Biggest gainer currently is Takeda Adachi, who is trying to go for a last to first challenge. However, he is still in 9th place, but he is the biggest gainer so far. One of the biggest losers, of course, would be Isakaji Mikolev, who started on pole position, but is now down in 15th place. And also Zeke Wimberly, who started in 3rd. Alton Tannerau, meanwhile, started in 4th, is now down in 16th. So the trend of 4th place starters winning this race isn't going to continue. But take nothing from you need to really take away a lot of things though from currently Vas at the Moshnap though, gaining 6 positions from the start, and also Great Prow gaining 9 positions from the start.
You go.
Yeah, the way that the pit stops have shaken out have really changed the order of this race. The ones who are very, very quick in qualifying didn't seem to have the greatest of pit strategies, so ultimately let's compromise them as Mikolev gets closer. Looking back at Sean Paul, he's right at the back as we talk about poor pit strategies, and he is a prime example of that, along with Fumai, who is the other driver, has lost 14 positions in this race. As it looks like Sims is going to be coming into the pits at the end of this lap.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to relieve a bit of pressure on my own car. 13.3 seconds behind the lead. The motor also needing to pit again. So currently a net lead, but as we mentioned before, we'll be going into the final laps of the race on those very used, very scuffed tyres. So just needs to be consistent, keep it on track.
And speaking of which, let's take a look into Cal Gibbons and how he's going to cross the line. He's only able to set a 138.17, still very respectable. But if it falls down to say 31 or 32, then it's going to be a bit of a bad news here. But Gibbons currently is in a serious position to bring home this race win for Roboco and to keep the streak of Gibbons essentially in his first competitive outing in a series. He would essentially win on his competitive debut. So, and it all happened in Fuji, so I have my hopes, but right now I'm just pointing out the trend that has been happening so far. But right now, looking into race field monitor once again, everyone is good except Ray Prower, Mono Zetaro, Dan Evans, and Javier Lusby. These are the last 4 drivers who will be making their pit stops.
We'll see where Sims comes out in comparison to Grant's going to be about 2.5, so about 2 seconds ahead of Grant, and compared to Gibbons has lost about 40 seconds.
Yeah, so still on board with Sims here, heading through the corner. Grant 1.5 seconds behind, so stuck back a little bit of a pack there. It's a bit moving left again. Bartes behind Goodwin, failing for 14, would not want to be the position he wanted to battle for, but that's just the strategy he was given, and possibly try and claw back away. See Al Gore as well in the pack, so maybe a 13th is potentially on the cards for a result, otherwise not really his day today.
Definitely, so keep an eye on how it all progresses. Mikolev, just can't seem to make any impact on the back of Jake Goodwin right now, so Goodwin doing well enough to hold on. Elgor at the head of this pack with the car that's sort of stuck in between them as well on a different lap. Keep an eye on when the lap times point in. So that drive is Fremont by the looks of it.
Yeah, as I said, blue flags are merely a guideline here, so you still got to overtake everyone like you do for track position. So Fremont just being that little spanner in the works there, as Sims around the outside. Is that full? No, I don't believe that is full position. I believe that is another. That is Polly as well. So again, lap cars trying to be the centre of the show here. You know, if you can't go for the overall win, well, at least try and make it difficult for them.
Yeah, and ultimately Sims was able to get through on Polly, but very tight between them regardless. Meanwhile, Dimensionov still continues onwards. I'd say it would be coming in a few laps' time. Mikolev still cannot make an impression on the back of Goodwin. So the pace that Mikolev had earlier, we saw this as well when stuck behind Reba, and I believe the Dutch couldn't just couldn't make the moves, as we see Javier Lisby coming to the pits.
Yeah, Lisby and Proud have been stuck together for a while now, but they're finally broken up, at least temporarily, as we look with Sims here. 15 seconds behind P5 and 2 seconds in front of Grant, so again a bit in no man's land position here. But we'll see where Lisby comes out after the pit stop. I don't know if they've gone out of their box yet, but will indeed pass the front straight. Lisby's out of the box now. Looks like going to come out into a little bit of traffic.
Yeah, so coming out P6, P7, Sims does get through. In fact, Lisby might actually come out in a bit of a clean air just ahead of Evans there. So not too bad for Lisby, and yeah, is right to the end with 17 laps of fuel in the car.
Yeah, and also looking into the strategies right now, we still have, drum roll please, 4 drivers who are not good on fuel until the end of the race. Which is, of course, Vlasa Domashnev, Mono Zetaro, Dan Evans, as well as Gray Prower. So the first driver that will be coming in for sure will be the likes of actually Gray Prower, and then joining him will be Mono Zetaro and Vladislav Domashev. When Domashev actually pits around lap 50 to 51, we will be seeing on how Gibbons continues to fare as far as lap times are concerned, because I think Gibbons is only lapping at a 131, but if Domashev can be very quick in the pit stop here and have the fresh tires while running second, if the gap is under 20 seconds, then the potential for a win is still very much realistic.
Indeed, it's just a question of whether Domashnev can actually make the moves in the overtake, because we haven't seen too many overtakes in this race, even with the pace we've seen from a few drivers in this one, as it looks like Mikolev may have finally made the move on Goodwin.
Yeah, it took a while, but finally making a move there, up into P14, 3 seconds behind P13 of Elgor, so maybe an opportunity coming towards the end and get the pace down. But yeah, as I was saying before about getting the fresh tyres, so these final 10 laps, fresh tyres, lower fuel, we'll probably almost see like quali lap kind of pace, so maybe some 29s, maybe even a 28. But otherwise, those on scuffed tyres, such as myself, we're looking at high 30s, 31s, obviously significantly slower.
And looking at Callum Gibbons right now, only setting a 137.35. If Domashnev wants to have any chance of beating Callum Gibbons here, given that he has to make a pit stop, he needs to be very quick on the pit stop here, try to only have a little splash of fuel and a quick change of tires for him to have the advantage needed for him to nudge in front of Gibbons, go get behind Gibbons, but be faster than Gibbons in the final stretch and see if he can go into a position where he could make a last lap overtake. But who knows what's going to happen? But anyways, in this battle for 14th place, Mikolev, Goodwin, and Atanara are bunched up.
At the moment, set in 31-second lap time, so decently respectable, at least for the rear of the field. Not really stepping on the doorstep of the top 10 at the moment, but otherwise they'll try and do what they can. Just looking at the timing screens there, look at the lap times. Yeah, 31s, a couple of 32s there, so that seems to be the theme at this point with the midfield, with the top end set in times in the 30s, but as we mentioned, still some pit stops to go, so that is good one. That is no.
Bit of a mistake there from Goodwin, going very wide and losing control of the car. Now coming through 300R, can he hold it against Antanaro? Antanaro go around the outside into Dunlop corner, goes very deep on the brakes. He's going to be tight between them, but then Tannerell gets it done.
Yeah, I think Goodwin just got the tyres a bit dirty. They probably braked on the grass that we've seen a few people do at the hairpin, just not really where they are on track. But anyway, Proud now back in the pits, what should be the final stop.
Yes, apparently 10 laps to go in this race. You would expect it to be the final stop for Prower, and looks like Domeshnev will be coming in at the end of this lap.
Yeah, built up that margin, 16.5 seconds, so pretty decent margin. So that will help when he has these fresh tyres and a lot of fuel. I have to guess about, I think potentially might come back in, or just behind Gibbons, so maybe not be too stuck in traffic, so he can just get the foot down and catch back up.
So looking now, is he peeling in? It does look like it. So how long will this pit stop be, and what will the gap be between Domeshnev and Gibbons to the end of this one?
Right, so I would predict that the gap is going to be at around maybe 24 or 23. But I'll be surprised if it's like 15 or below, but I think the realistic one might be at around 19 or 20. Galen Gibbons is already in the main straight, so right now the eyes are going to be in Mono Zetaro in car number 92 for Oro Crony, and in the final stages of the Split C race. Again, everyone, this is the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5-hour race. This is Split C, which essentially a race that is an inspiration from for stage 3, as I mentioned, since Zetaro is now coming into the pits. So there's a QR code in the bottom right of your screen. You can scan this QR code for more info about the Six Fest, also the Expo as well. And if you do want to also get the streaming ticket, you can also scan the QR code for more details on that stuff as well. So anyways, Angela Sims is going to be in a position to potentially grab third place. Domashnev is now only 28 seconds behind Callum Gibbons. But here comes another spanner in the wrench, Kamner Reba.
Yeah, so the theme of lapped cars playing an influence on the top results once again. So instead, 29-30 seconds to margin now, so Domeshnev would basically need qualifying laps for these last 10 laps if he wants a chance. So that's effectively 3 seconds per lap at least, at minimum, to even consider catching up. So like I think even with the used tires, like maybe if the Gibbons goes down to the 132s, especially when stuck behind this lap car, and Domeshnev does 29s, maybe possible.
Yeah,
so there you go, 32.4 on that lap from Gibbons, so keeping on Domeshnev. Domeshnev does need to warm up those tyres though, so we basically need 3.5 seconds a lap by the time he gets them up to temperature.
Yeah, so I just wanted to also add as well, Dan Evans, Takeda Adachi, and Great Prower are most likely not going to have enough fuel to finish this race, so they will have to make a pit stop. So right now, pending any crazy maneuvers from Vlasa Domashnev, who have now just crossed the line to continue warming up the tires and to just line himself up for a move against Callum Gibbons, who is going to be set to continue the streak of winning in his competitive debut in a series for Roboco, and well, not exactly for Roboco because he represented Ozora in Hall ITT3, but the point still stands. Callum Gibbons is on course to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, and I'll try not to curse myself just yet, especially I'm stuck behind lap traffic, but just seems to be maintaining that gap for now. Domeshnev obviously still warming up the tyres, but it hasn't quite made it inroads on that margin yet, so there's a bit of room in the moment to just, keep behind and maybe look at an overtake of this lap car in the slipstream, so definitely a lot closer than before, putting the foot down on the main straight. 28 seconds to margin now.
Yes, and we'll have a decent slipstream on Reba down this main straight to try and get through on the blue flag car and not get held up for too much longer, because 32.4s. You want to go a little bit quicker than that because Domashnev is now catching up and is looking good. Oh, that's a late look. And that's compromised the line and the exit, and that's just going to continue to slow Gibbons down. So needs to be a little bit more aggressive against these blue flag cars.
Hang on, just hang on, just wanted to check here. Ethan Burleson, Hoshizuna Rio. And these are the two cars that are currently in the way of Vladislav Damashna. So they are also going to be the spanners in the works for essentially Damashna's pursuit for this race win. So right now, in order for him to just reach Cal Gibbons though, he needs to get past 2 lap cars in 2 different laps. Ethan Burleson down in 18, Hoshizuna Rio down in 12. So this is going to be a very much a big challenge there, a titanic challenge for the Mazda if he wants to bring home this win for Aki Rosenthal and to break Gibbons' stranglehold in competitive debut wins.
Yeah, we can see the margin going down lap by lap, but time is running out. He's mentioned that lap traffic in between, so that might just be what saves me here. So as long as, my car doesn't take any risks and go for any too crazy dives into turn 1 as speaking of which, a bit further back this time, so I think 32.4, not the greatest time, but I think it's still just enough to know with him on lap 54 of 60, so it's a time running out. But for now, keeping it on track and for the most part clean. Most part, I think that was almost a rear end there, I thought, but yeah, not ideal.
Yeah,
it's Dan Evans coming in the pits.
And right now, Rim Olgor is chasing. But Dan Evans should be able to secure 12th place. Olgor in 13th, Mikalev 14th, and Tannerov looking to secure at least a point after starting 4th. And then we also have Misagai Mikalev who started up in front, now down in 14th. If you really want to know how crazy it has been for the drivers up front, take a look.
Yeah, that's a lot of stops. So the top 10 have done 1 or 2 stops apiece. Then you get to Rio 3 stops, Evans 2, Elgor 3, then 4, 3, 4, and then the 2 5-stoppers down the back. I was joking about them doing 5-stop strategies. Turns out it wasn't as much of a joke. They took that very seriously.
Well, you're their strategist or something. They were listening to you.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Not ideal circumstances, I would say. But hey, if it means I have a job with Fuma and Polly, then sure.
Alright.
He went to the school of body Ferrari pit strategy there, for those who know, but as we look at Prower, right behind Grant still, Lusby not far behind, so good battle pack for 4th, 5th, and 6th in these closing stages.
Yeah, and right now there may be some fire left in this race. Remember when I said about the mid stages of the race and the late stages of the race maybe having some sort of entry? Well, here you go. As you can see here, there's a battle for 4th place between Grant Prower and Lusby, and in front of them is Sean Pauly, Jay Goodwin, and Angela Sims, all on different laps. But watch out though for Alex Grant, as he's going to be under pressure from Gray Prower, the Gaugura number 99, wanting to have a slice of that 5th place, as now Gray Prower goes down the inside of the number 63 Yukiana Lamy car, and that's going to send Grant downwards. Prower isn't going to give this a 1-up, trying to channel the Intimidator's energy, trying to intimidate Alex Grant. Well, Alex Grant is having none of this for now.
Yeah, once again, turn 1, not really getting the move done. It's been the theme throughout this race. And Grant pulling away a bit there now. Power just got a bit of compromise going for the overtake. So not really going to have another go into the hairpin, but he's now under more pressure from Lusby.
Indeed, has to have one eye forward, but also one eye back, because Javier Lusby is going to be right there to capitalize on any mistake Prowl makes. Update on the lead, Gibbons has done a 32.5. Tomashinov is still 22 seconds back, so would have to essentially be gaining 4 seconds a lap at this point, which is just basically impossible.
You're going to need like a hypercar level of pace to probably have a chance at this point. So I think, yeah, for 129.9, it's a good time, but you need like at least 4 or 5 seconds faster per lap to even have a chance. So I think pending a huge mistake from the leader or any lapped car influence, might be sorted, but try not to jinx myself.
But anyways, here comes Isagaji Mikolev there trying to face his fellow Gen 0 teammate Hofumi, who's already down at 19th place after making those crazy 5 stops after a miscalculated fuel load at the start, and it just escalated from here on out. Prower and Looseby still on a basically a stalemate between each other, as now we get to see Gray Prower losing some slight touch against Alex Grant, who's still running in 4th. But again, we still have less than 5 laps to go here. Callum Gibbons still in a comfortable position here. He is in a position where he has a 19-second cushion, and right now he has literally 0 reason to push. And speaking of pitting, Ryan Kaczynski is now in the pits right now, and right now the driver team question, the 19th position will be coming at Ripa, pushes on a reel, and Dan Evans potentially, but we'll have to wait and see on how this develops. And now Gibbons is now going to be under pressure from Ethan Burleson in 18th place. Let's just hope that there's no crazy shenanigans happening between the two, as Callum Gibbons is trying his absolute best to make sure that streak stays alive. But watch out though for Ethan Burleson. He is looking into a move down the inside, but unfortunately, not enough of a gap here for him to dive down the inside and just risk crashing into Gibbons. Otherwise it's going to be an absolute mess, and he's going to be dealing with an absolute pressing down. Unfortunately, we're on lap 57, less than 4 laps to go. Cal Gibbons still has it.
Still has it, just stuck in the middle here. Doesn't want to take any risk, but he's sort of forced to take a risk to defend himself or have a go on the other lap cars closer once again, but that margin is still going down. So look at Antaro here. And right behind Mikolev in P14 at the moment. Not really close enough there. There's a great opportunity heading to sector 3.
Yeah, they need to be a lot closer. You almost need to be side by side coming out of the hairpin to be able to make that move into Dunlop corner. But Fantana right now, he's still got a point to his name if he stays there right now. But he obviously like to quadruple that and get 4 points to his name.
Still going through sector 3 here, single file, not really going from, obviously you can't really go double file into turn 15 and 16, so it's all about getting a good run out of the final corner, Panasonic corner, as Dimitrov on the charge, 29.3, that is a rapid lap, 16 seconds to margin now, so
5 seconds, about 5 seconds a lap if he wants it.
I think it's possible too little too late, as long as they don't get involved in any shenanigans lap cars. Just try and maintain position as Antaro looks at Mikolev, but not close enough that time, so there's still some spark left in this race in its final couple of laps.
And just wanted to check onto the other battles that we might want to pay attention to. Alex Grant has been overtaken though by Gray Prow, but not before. Gray Prow bites back. Gray Prow is now on the outside line coming into Coca-Cola corner. Gray Prow hangs around the outside, tries to place the car in the absolute right position and goes outside, hits the sausage curve at the exit of Coca-Cola, and now he's in 4th place. What a charge there. It looks like there's almost contact there between Grant and Looseby as Adachi now comes into the pits. Still lots of stuff to talk about as we're now coming to the final stages. Takeda Adachi looking to pit. Kaminari Riba also looking to pit. This will be a massive change in the standings here, especially given that Antaro is also going to be looking to gain a few more points, given that he is getting very close there to Mikolev.
There you go, Riva is into the pits. That will release Callum Gibbons a little bit and give him a bit more room, but Domeshnev still very quick, just won't have enough, as we only have 2 laps to go in this one. We're on the penultimate lap, and Callum Gibbons is in a brilliant position right now. He is set to win once again the debut competitive race in this series for him.
Yeah, clearly used up all my bad luck in the invitational race, but making it work where it counts. So still on board with Mikolev. I think, yeah, that's a lap car between. It's not like 1.5 seconds there. Whoever else I believe is in front of that lap car. Antaro less than a second behind as well. So still a bit of a freeway pack for P12. But not really any moves here for the moment.
Also, just wanted to share a bit of a story here for Cal Gibbons. Since 2024, he has failed to make the CO series. There was a fall in form in the middle of qualifiers for Gibbons, which rendered him unable to qualify for the CO series in Holotype GT3. In Formula Holotype, Gibbons just doesn't have the right amount of pace to compete in Formula Holotype in the 2024 season, rendering him unable to qualify for the CO Cup in 2024 in Formula Holotype. In 2025, 24-25 qualifiers, it's the same song and dance though for Cal Gibbons as he now crosses the line to start the final lap of the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5 hours. But now here in Fuji Speedway in Split C, he's going to be looking to vindicate the issues that he's had over the years. And what a way to start off his campaign in Holotype World Series.
Very good way indeed, sitting in clear air under no threat at all. 13 seconds the margin, diminishing for the bloody rocket ship to even catch up at this point. So just sailing, keeping on track, keeping on timer, keep on good stuff, and just cruise on for the win.
Indeed, it's been a great race in terms of strategies. We watch now Alex Grant being attacked by Lusby. Grant, he has now the inside line going into Coca-Cola Curve, but it hasn't been the preferred line. So will he be able to hold on to it? Will Lusby get through? I think Lusby might get through with the overspeed on the call, but Gibbons is going to come through the final corner now, and it's going to be Callum Gibbons who will win this race.
And Cal Gibbons just needing a little bit of luck, a little bit of something for him to finally get his Roboco ride and for Roboco to grab a win here in Holotype. Gibbons wins the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5 Hour Split C race. Welcome back to the top step of the podium.
Absolutely glorious. Good strategy, just keeping it on track. Less risks. That's all I could ask for.
Demashnev comes home in second. We're looking now still at Lusby attacking Grant. Grant did actually hold on, so that's really well done there. And I think he'll have enough to take P5 in this race. It'll be Sims rounding out the podium in P3. Then it will be Prower, Grant, and Lusby there. Zetero, the last of the drivers on the lead lap.
For Lusby. P5 Grant, P6 Lusby. Zetero 22 seconds behind. I believe that might be the last finisher. So let's get him across the line. Rounds the final corner. I believe our final driver.
Yeah, and that will be Morozetaro having a pretty decent race though for Morozetaro, and we will finally take a look into the final progress chart. We have a confirmation here of actually Alex Grant being the biggest gainer of the bunch. So now we can finally take a look into the Split C results. Cal Gibbons takes his win, continues the streak of winning in his competitive debut in a series for Roboco, at least for this race. Congratulations, of course, to Cal Gibbons. Actually, he is the first JB class car to actually win in the races here. Well, if you do not count the Invitational, of course, Shaki Reza won in the Invitational. But again, we still have Lasa Demashnev getting second for Aki Rosenthal. Third place goes to Angela Sands, who put up a massively good fight for Anya Melfissa. Great Prower, what a great run for him as the best EN class car for Garagura in fourth. Alex Grant fifth for Yukana Lamy. Javier Lusby sixth for Vestra Zeta. Morozetaro finishes a respectable seventh for Oro Crony, with Hoshizuna Rio eighth for Nakiri Ayame. What a nice comeback that he's had. Dan Evans 9th for Irani Io 15th, and Raija Kaczynski rounds out the top 10 for Yuzuki Choko. Takeda Adachi in 11th for Ninamai Inanis, with Rim Olgor 12th for Ozora Subaru. Isakaji Mikolev 13th for Sakura Mika, with 14 going to Alcern Tanara for Nikamata Akayu, and 15th Jake Goodwin for Okami Mio. And then coming at Reba 16th, first driver out of the points for Shiro Boltan, with Zeke Rimbley. Very unfortunate to miss out on the points for Shirakawa Fuuki. And then Eden Burleson 18th for Nanashi Mume, and 19th Tokino Sora's Hofumi in the new number 36. Didn't have the best of debuts. Will finish in 19th, and Sean Pauli rounds out the 20 car field for Inagami Korone for having a pretty unusual strategy. Now that being said, we are going to take a slight look into the replay, especially what happens with Ethan Burleson, especially when he had his 360 spin. So with that being said, I am just gonna check on how this race has gone. So basically, here's the replay of the start as we're going to transition now. I know how it looks like. Take it from here.
Alright, so a bit of a scuffle, obviously, as you would on lap 1. Yeah, it's kind of what we thought it was. A bit of a pit maneuver, just kind of came across. I think it was Polly there that just sort of swiped across. Didn't really see a car on their right-hand side. Looks like avoiding any major damage.
So, but anyways, if you want to know the actual thing that's happening, so here's Takeda Adachi's on board in the number 17 in the Mainanis car. Takeda Adachi, of course, being no stranger to incidents here. Bangs doors with the Mume car, and
yeah, that gap looked like it was always going to close. So perhaps a little bit of over eagerness for Adachi, but also the free wide did not help in that occasion.
And looking into the onboard there for Bertelsen, just to get another point of view here. So as you can see here, Bertelsen tries to stay around the outside, makes contact with Bertelsen, and then trying to look into the action here, and then just also contact with the guardrail on the front end of the car also didn't help his cause. So that will be that for essentially the entire split series. So with that out of the way, I am gonna take some time to essentially log in the results. So while I log in the results, what has been the standout moment for split C so far?
I guess I'll start. Obviously, borrow myself, I try not to toot my own horn too much, but I guess it was just interesting to see such varied strategy, some questionable strategy as well. As I said, taking Lex's advice of a 5-stop a bit too literally, so some drivers not really converting a good qualifying result, but otherwise still very entertaining, very good battles. Probably not as argy-bargy as the Invitational, obviously less drivers, but a lot more clean, a lot more respectful, and a good show for us to watch.
Yeah, definitely. The varied strategies made it very interesting, as there wasn't really a whole lot of on-track battling, especially compared to the Invitational. That was to be expected with the less number of drivers that we had in Split C compared to the Invitational. But yeah, there was still some intriguing stuff. It was just a lot harder for drivers to make overtakes in this race, and that seemed quite interesting.
Alright, so I'm just gonna do a bit of an impromptu thing since we really don't need to waste a lot of time here. So we're just gonna process the results and get the championship standings properly logged in. Just wanted to check here. I just wanted to check the standings thingy, so might want to give me some time, but I will agree with the essentially the whole vibe here to talk about. But yeah, I would say that the race has been very enjoyable from start to finish. Split A and Invitational, the creators race essentially had the same vibe here, as of course there is the talk about the hang on, I'm just gonna see if I could capture the right capture. Just wanted to check if I could let me see. I can't really do that. Let me see. Game capture, specific window. Let me see. I don't know if I could do this though. I think I might need to do a display capture. So I might just need to do something like this. So yeah, it's been a very enjoyable race from start to finish. Of course, we got to see very much lots of racing action and all of that stuff. I really want to see if I could display the championship standings from this angle here. I'm not sure if I could do it for Assetto Corsa, but I think, let me see. I'm not sure if I could do this for Chrome. Let me just never mind that. But we're just gonna use the race result as a reference point. So getting 200 points will be, of course, Callum Gibbons, on which he will be carrying it over into the JP split. So that will mean that he will be leading the JP split, the JP Holotype series. And also adding to that would be the other drivers in the field, such as I kind of need to double check here. Vlasa Domashnev also not far behind. Angela Sims will grab a respectable 150 points. So okay, I just wanted to see if I could yes, window capture. I think I finally got my answer. So excuse me while I try to get the results in. So all right. So we're just gonna check the standings here to confirm. And audio output capture. All right. So we're just gonna check on this once again. So Callum Gibbons leads Domashnev, Angela Sims, Great Power, Alex Grant, and then there's also uh, and then Javier Lusby, Monozetaro, Hojizono Rio, Dan Evans, Raja Kaczynski, Takeda Adachi, Rem Olgor, Isakaji Mikalev, Anderson Taro, and Jake Goodwin will be the ones that score points. Bertelson, Wimberly, Cameron Ribas, Sean Pauly, and Hofumi will be waiting in the wings later on. And if you want to know the drivers that will be racing in the split C later on in the World Series, then you have your answer in the front of your screen. But whatever the case is, what are your thoughts on the championship moving forward?
Yeah, obviously, one round in, so probably a lot to play for later in the season. But at least for my car setting, being commanding early on, Domashnev and Sims not far behind, so will be something to look forward to for the rest of the season.
Yeah, still very early days, and with how complex the race was on pit strategies, you can't really take anything much from in terms of the form guide, but it's definitely a good start for those who had the better strategies in your top 5 of Gibbons, Domashnev, Sims, Prower, and Grant.
So with that being said, we are going to hang on, I'm just going to adjust here. Unfortunately, we're only going to be talking about the end of these things. But anyways, I'm just going to give everyone one last plug, since there's literally one last performance here to look into if you are a Holotype fan. So here is stage 3 of the Colorized Harmony concert on Sunday. So if you do want to know more about the concert and all that stuff, you can scan the QR code on the bottom right for more information on the fest and expo. Hopefully, we'll be able to tune in to the full stream if you are able to afford the streaming ticket and all that stuff. But whatever the case, the free viewing is also going to be there on YouTube. Always going to be there for only for the first few minutes. But with that being said, we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to the ARO Holotype month of racing, specifically the Colorized Harmony Fuji 5 hours weekend. It's been a very, very positive experience for all of us to start hosting these new types of racing. I'd like to appreciate, of course, I'd like to give my appreciation to the commentators that came in for throughout the weekend. Seirin on Saturday, and of course Lexi Bowen and Cal Gibbons on Sunday. We'll see you in April for the next races, as we're going to be taking a long break. We'd like to see you by then, but until then, we will continue posting in the ARO Twitter and Blue Sky accounts. And with that being said, we'll see you in April. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you in Adak-RMS for the Fest and Expo. Take care, everyone.